Migraines are very debilitating, so you tend to live your life around them. You know, they're in the back of your mind all the time. You know, you have to consider them when you think they're going to strike, as long as you know when that is. And you tend not to book to do anything or go anywhere. You want to be near home. So they tend to control your life to a certain degree. My name's Tina Gillett. I'm 48 and I'm an Assistant Treasury Manager.
My name is Christopher Malpas. I'm 56 years old, and as an occupation I'm an electrical fitter for the electricity industry.
I used to have acupuncture for 2 different types of migraine, which started when I was pregnant with my daughter. One was where I used to have blinding pain for perhaps 4 hours, and then it would go, in which time I would projectile vomit. And then after she was born, I started to get migraine every month, and it would last for at least 72 hours. Sometimes I've driven home and not even remembered driving home.
The migraines will come every 9 months. There was a cycle to them. Why, I don't know. But every day for the next 6 weeks I would have migraines which would stop me working for 6 weeks. I wouldn't be able to go out, do anything. I was totally wiped out, no energy, and I spent a lot of that time on the floor in an ice pack. Migrainous neuralgia, which is slightly different from an ordinary migraine as I understand it. Mine was purely intense pain on the side of my head, from my eye to my ears down to my back teeth. It was in a triangle of excruciating pain which would really lay me out for hours and days at a time.
I tried acupuncture because I was having a particularly bad attack. I'd already had it for 24 hours, and I'd gotten up in the morning and my husband said to me, "This is ridiculous, we can't go on like this." He picked the phone book up, to which he tried an acupuncturist from where I live in Codsall, and she wasn't in. So he tried the next one in the list, and David answered. I saw David that night after that. I can't actually say that I ever had as bad a migraine, and after 2 weeks I didn't have one at all.
How does acupuncture work? Now that's a difficult one, but if we go back into the mists of time and we examine what the ancient Chinese felt about traditional acupuncture, they said something along the lines of, each one of us is born with an innate weakness, a central root weakness, and that root weakness stays with us from the moment we're born until the moment we die. And if during our lifetime that root weakness is placed under a degree of pressure, it will shout out, and it will shout out in a way which shows symptoms. So the practitioner would have a job then to look into that individual and not treat the symptoms, but to look to find where that original root lay within that individual, and then to treat that root. And if that original root were found and treated properly and appropriately, the symptoms would begin to die back, and then that individual would begin to feel well again and more able to cope with their everyday life.
I've been suffering since the mid-70s, so we're looking 40 years. And for, wow, the first 15-20 years I was just relying on doctors. All the usual doctor's tablets, what they would give you. I can't remember the names of them now because it's been such a long time, but that was totally of non-effect. The only best one I ended up with was pethidine for the pure intense pain, which I would sit there on the floor, sort of zonked out. Still didn't stop it, but it made it bearable at the time. And it wasn't until one day somebody showed me a magazine where acupuncture helped migraines, so I looked into it.
Having acupuncture transforms your life. It's a relief. unless you've had it and you've suffered from it, you can't put it into words really, because your life's back again. You've got your life back and you don't have to live around a condition.
Brilliant, it stopped them within a week. And now I have a regular course every 2 months, just to top my immune system up, or however you'd like to say. And I haven't had a migraine for many years now, but I still come because I'm not going back to the old ways.
Acupuncture is odd. I'm not going to say it's painful, because it isn't. It feels like it's doing something, that you're achieving something within your body. And I remember 2 weeks, I came to David initially when I had my first the attack, when it was very bad, and I had 2 sessions per week. And on the last session of those 2 weeks, I had a very overwhelming sense of relaxation. Very, very pronounced it was within my body. I could feel it, and I get that now. Every time I come, I get that sense of relaxation. So I find it's you feel very rejuvenated when you've been.
I quite enjoy it actually. It's a weird sensation of how you can put a needle into a certain part of your body and you can feel sensations from it. Not particularly in the area where you've actually got the needle. It could be within a few inches. 3 treatments in 1 week and I stopped it. Where I would have been going on in pain for the next 6 weeks. You know, from the very first onset, I could tell there was a difference. But a few days later, I had another session. It was better, and another one actually did stop it. And my body was still wiped out, but it got rid of the pain, so that was what I was interested in.
What we call the causative factor, or that original root, is found and treated effectively, that person will begin to show improvements in symptoms. And that's it.
It's cured, it's given me my life back.